to the European Parliament, so she had to stay in Slovakia. And I think you might know Dr. Juraj Alner, which is the former Secretary General. He also sends his best regards to everyone. I'll try to be as brief as possible. I'll speak for approximately 6 minutes, since I think we're already out of time. I would like to raise one interesting phenomenon in Slovakia, which I call the EU-Slovakia relationship paradox. Slovakia, or Slovaks, according to the Eurobarometer surveys, are among the most pro-EU nations. For example, the support for the European Economic and Monetary Union, including the euro, and Slovakia is supported by 78% of Slovaks. And that's among the top of, if you compare with other EU member states. And most of the Slovaks are convinced that the European Union is a good project, and most also trust the European Union institutions. However, when it comes to active participation, Slovaks scored top worst in the voters' turnout in both of the European Parliament elections committed in Slovakia. Just for the illustration, in 2004, the turnout was just 16%, and in 2009, it was 19%. And today, we are expecting, unfortunately, a third worst, again, number. But what is behind this Slovak-European Union relationship paradox? Firstly, one has to bear in mind that Slovakia had to undertake a quick run in order to catch up with the first line of member states who were about to join the Union in 2004. Only after 1998, when former Prime Minister Vladimir Mečiar was lost in the elections, the doors to real integration were opened. Slovaks had to choose either international isolation under Mečiar or a very, very quick integration process to the EU institutions under the new Prime Minister Mikuláš Dzurinda. We were basically forced to choose the path leading to the European Union. Many experts in Slovakia claim this process was a bit artificial and very fast, consequently leaving no space to deeper discussion about the European Union, and leaving many sectors, for example agriculture, which had to force very harsh competition of Polish or Western European farmers. The fastness of the process left visible consequences on the nation's attitude towards the Union, and particularly in terms of very low awareness about the European Union and the options that the Union offers to its citizens. We were also, the Slovaks entrepreneurs were not well prepared for the competition and for the open market, unfortunately. Secondly, the Slovak education system was not able to react effectively to the Slovak accession to the European Union. Only this year, in 2014, that's literally 10 years after the accession of Slovakia to the Union, a textbook for high schools was published and distributed to high schools in Slovakia. However, there are no pure European Union classes. The EU agenda is taught in general social studies courses. As a consequence, the new generations are not better educated in the EU affairs, and even though the EU also guarantees some standards in human rights protection, a recent simulation of the European Parliament elections, which was organized in 62 high schools across Slovakia, showed alarming results. In some parts of Slovakia, the extremist party that is called Ľudová strana, Naše Slovensko, with Marian Kotleba on the head, scored first. And then there were some former hockey legends. Indeed, this proves that even the young generation lacks proper education, which leads to disrespect for human rights. And in fact, the Union tries the opposite. It tries to promote human rights as one of its main values. To conclude, the European Parliament elections taking place in Slovakia today are expected to reach, again, a very low voter turnout. maybe around 20%. There's a clear risk of the election of extremists of the Ľudová strana Naše Slovensko, and a continuous passivity of the major society regarding the European parliamentary elections. However, I had a chance to conduct a series of pro-EU information campaign discussions throughout Slovakia, and we visited many universities. And in the beginning of each discussion, I asked the audience about whether he or she knows when the elections take place and who is going to participate in the elections. And in the beginning of the discussion, only around 10% of the audience knew that there will be elections on the 24th of May. And around 15% claimed he or she might join the elections. However, in the end of the discussions, most hands were raised when the audience responded to whether he or she will go and vote in the European elections. Clearly, this is a very positive trend which needs to be followed. We need more discussion, we need more education focused on the European Union agenda, and I think this is something that we need in all member states. I wish this event was part of the larger discussion and the process. Thank you very much for your attention, and I hope today we vote for the better future of our European Union. Thank you very much.